Now, let me do a quick introduction of the show. Civic Matters will be happening right here in the studio on a weekly basis every Tuesday, and it targets grassroots citizens to provide civic education to strengthen their participation in governance and to demand participatory, accountable, and transparent government within the FCT. And now, this is a very important conversation because we're at a time where people are now much more hungrier to know about what happens in government, how we do what we do, and what we can do to get to a better place in running the entire government and of course within the FCT. All right, guys, I'm not alone in the studio, and of course I will never be. I have here with me Emmanuel Sani Esquire. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hello, Martha. Nice to meet you.
Yes, and he is the programs officer of ProMat Foundation, civic enthusiast, and a Nigerian lawyer with over 5 years of experience. And then I also have Farouk Ibrahim here with me. Hi, Farouk.
Hi, I'm Farouk Ibrahim.
All right, Farouk is the Impact and Communication Assistant of ProMab, and he is an aspiring lawyer. Okay, so we have a lawyer and an aspiring lawyer in the studio. Now, he contributes to the organization's mission by utilizing his strong communication skills, which we will be seeing here today, and his creative thinking. So thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, let's move on to the objective of this conversation.
Okay. The objective of this conversation, going by the last project that we handled on accelerating youth participation in politics, we discovered that there is a knowledge gap within the FCT on the youth civic participation in governance.
Okay.
And as civic tech organizations, we are intending to close that knowledge gap, to bridge that knowledge gap between the grassroots communities and the government, so that we believe that this would help foster accountability, transparency, and participation to promote sustainable development. That's what inspired our particular project.
Right. Okay. Now, before we move on, Farah, can you help us with the background of ProMat so that we can know exactly what we're dealing with right here?
All right. So, ProMat is a civic tech organization, and also ProMat is a civic tech organization, foundation, an NGO foundation, whereby we carry out civic tech activities, such as this particular program, which we are executing, the AYPG, Accelerating Youth Participation in Governance, which is proudly supported by LEAP Africa and the Nigerian Youth Futures Fund. Also, this is the second phase of this AYPG project, as the first phase was about training our fellows in within the three fellows within the local government of Abuja on how they could engage their governance, how they could engage governments and government agencies also. So this is what we do at ProMat. Thank you very much.
All right. No, go on. I'm listening. Just come a bit closer to the mic so that we can hear you clearly.
Oh, all right. So and also in.
All right, at ProMat, like he rightly said, we are interested in increasing youth participation in governance. We are interested in promoting transparency, social accountability, and participatory democracy. So we have done several projects, which, according to what he said, is the Civic Matters, a radio program which we intend to do to accelerate, to increase knowledge, so that the FCT youth and the FCT inhabitants could speak about politics, could engage their various representatives from a more informed perspective. We believe if this is not done in this particular period, where we have a lot of youths that are getting interested in participating in governance, if they are not participating in a more informed part, it would make them susceptible to be used by the various politicians, but that might not mean good for them. So we want to engage you, to want to train you, to want to train people that are interested in participating in politics on the better approach to carry out that particular aspect.
All right, there you have it. So it's just basically creating the right mindset to participating in politics. Now let's ask, how far has ProMat gone with this? And what is the current status of youth political participation right here in the FCT?
Okay, right here in the FCT, like I pointed out earlier, I told you we did a project last year on accelerating youth participation in politics in the FCT, and there is also a report from the Nigerian Youth Futures Fund, that's from Leap Africa. Shout out to them. They are the ones sponsoring this particular project that we are carrying on. And there is a report that was given also last year on the status of youth participation in Nigeria, and there is a crisis in governance according to their report, and also from reports from the Nigerians Open Governance. They pointed out that there is a shrinking in the Nigerians civic space, and this shrinking, we believe from our project where we carried out within the FCT, one of the things contributing to this crisis in governance and the shrinking of the civic space is a knowledge gap. People don't really understand how they could carry out participation in governance. They don't understand what to do next after voting. So as an organization, PROMAD has been anchoring the boat to see that Nigerian youth, not just the youth alone, but everybody within the FCT understands what to do after election to follow up on governance.
All right. Now that we already have the foundation of what we want from this conversation, do we now open up the phone lines so that we can hear from our listeners what the major issue is? Why do they not participate in the political issues in the FCT generally, but for the 2023 general elections, we did see Nigerian people come out in their number. We saw youth come out. I personally went out to get my PVC so that I can participate in the entire process. We saw that happen, right? More like a revolt, But some people along the line gave up on that, whatever enthusiasm they pursued the election with, they pursued voting with. Some people lost it along the line,
And that's what ProMat Foundation and other civic organizations are interested in doing. Nigerians are locked up to the idea that you only participate during elections. And there are a lot of other things that you can do as a youth, as a citizen, after the election. You can still directly participate, and that is what we would be unveiling in the Civic Matters.
All right, this is the premier season of the civic matters right here on radio. So we'll be opening up the phone line. So you tell us, our dear listeners, what you think is the reason for the low or complete turnout now, because we have very low turnout of youth participation. What do you think the reason would be? And this will be the basis for our subsequent conversations right here on radio. The numbers are 090-7353-0044 or 090-8766-8888. You can also leave us a message on WhatsApp and letting us know what your contributions are on 090-9705-4450. Now, okay, let's move on to the first caller we have for today. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, my name is Mr. Chibu. I'm calling from Gariki.
All right, it's good to have you join us. So talk to us. What do you think is the reason for the low turnout of youth in elections?
Looking at the Nigeria situation now, there are some fundamental factors that necessitate people feel so reluctant or docile in participation or even questioning their leaders. There is an ideological perspective of that. There is cultural perspective, and there is religious aspect of it.
Okay.
Now, there are some cultural undertones that people believe that you don't have to question the leader, that whatever decision their leader has taken is a position born out of God's inspiration. That it is God, that you don't need to question your leader, that leaders are being chosen by God. And this is a kind of cultural message that passes over time, that leaders are ordained by God. But we don't sit down to ask ourselves questions. Before they come on board, is it God that told them from the heaven to come and leave you on earth? But that is just understanding. There is also an ideology aspect of it. And there is also the aspect of religion. That religion tells you that you don't need to question your leader, that you should pray for your leader, and you don't even bother that the only prayer can make your leader to do the work. They don't need to hold their leader accountable. Now, this kind of message is a message that over time that will be passed, and people continue to hold strong on that message. However, there is a total disconnect between the leader and the led, in the sense that that father and the parents, parents and the children's relationship has not been there, where the leaders get closer to the people and let people know that they are part of the governance. So there is a huge gap between both, and the leaders take that advantage. Now, passing a wrong message because of what we have learned over time, that you don't question them, that God gave you the leader, and what you owe them is the prayer. By your prayer, you will change them. But you holding them accountable since has been against them. This is one of the things that will begin to work, and in not fighting ideology and cultural understanding.
Let's keep it right there.
Very strong because.
All right, thank you so much. So that we can have as many people participate in the conversation as possible, let's keep it very short and very precise. Any comment about this that the last caller just said?
My comment I would love to make is that's why we are putting together this particular program. Like my communication officer earlier said, we have started with the Accelerating Youth Participation Fellowship, which is currently ongoing. Like as we speak right now, there are about 18 youths within the area councils of FCT currently receiving training on how to better engage the government within FCT. And to respond to our first caller, I would want to inform him that he should continue listening to this program. We would be educating him further and other FCT residents on how to question your leader. There are more creative ways
to do it
about questioning your leader, not in the form of disrespect, because you understand one thing the elderly ones don't like is disrespect.
All right. Hold that thought a bit. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hey.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Uche.
All right. Is this Uche from Akamata?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's hear you.
Thank you. You know, the result of all of those things is all put together. Human inhumanity to man and lack of accountability from the government. Nobody is accountable to anybody anymore. And when it comes to issue of accountability, nobody wants that. So that is why the government are not accountable to the people who elected them, and also the citizens are also don't want to be accountable to anybody. So we are just living a life of everything goes. The survival of the fittest. So that is why we are experiencing a whole lot of things today. And I will still blame 100%. I will still lay 100% blame on the government because they have the opportunity to contest all of those. It is true. Human beings are wicked in nature. However, there are some things, crime, criminality can be contested. It is not just only happening in Nigeria. It happens in every other part of the country. But why is our own going so extreme to the extent that it is gradually becoming a norm?
All right, Uche from Makamata, let's cut it right there so that we can have more people contribute. Farouk, you have something to say?
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Uche. And on the issue of accountability, it's one of the core value. It's one of our core value in ProMatch, as we believe in which is accountability, conscience, transparency, and service. And you see, when we elect our leaders and we fail to hold them accountable for what we elect them for, then definitely we have a gap, we have a lacuna. And how do we hold our governments responsible? This is where ProMatch comes in to actually educate the citizens on how to hold government responsible, how to hold government accountable. And there are a lot of civic actors, there are a lot of civic platforms like all these tracker, all these follow the project on we have one of our initiatives, follow the project, whereby we follow government projects to make sure that the projects which they have passed budget to execute, we make sure that they follow. We make sure that we follow same so that they execute same also. So you can also follow some of these our initiatives to also know about what are the projects that your government, your local government, your state government, even the federal has put in the budget to execute. How far have they gone about it? And then these are the ways that we can call our government to actually do what is expected of them and to be accountable.
Yeah, and it's very, very important that Nigerians queue behind all these initiatives, because when we don't have people speaking about them, nobody is having that conversation on transparency, accountability, and participation. It would just lay fallow like that, and nothing would be done. But when Nigerians start utilizing all these the principles that are available, all these projects, it would help us foster good governance and participation.
There we have it, people, and we're right here. The answers to the questions that you have been asking. It is important. One thing I always say here on radio is, it's not enough to fold your arms and keep contributing about the things that you don't want to see. What are you actively doing to change these things? And now, like you rightly said, Emmanuel, it's not about calling them out. There are more creative and constructive ways to doing these things, and this is what we're about right here on radio. So yes, let's have more calls and have more people contribute to letting us know what they think the reason for the low turnout of youth in political issues or their lack of participation. What is the reason for this? The numbers are 09073 53 0044 or 090 87668888. You can also leave us a message on WhatsApp letting us know what your thoughts are and what the reason would be on 09097054450. Now, moving on. What new information does the Civic Matters program? What do you think it would address precisely? I know we've talked about it here many times, but because it's a premier season, I would need to have this put out there as many times as possible. What new thing does the Civic Matters program bring to the table for the people of the FCT, especially the original inhabitants?
Okay, the new thing we are bringing, like I earlier pointed out, is that we are interested in educating the residents in FCT on how to properly engage their government, and we would be bringing information as regards the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act. I strongly believe that particular act carries a lot on how the FCT youth can directly engage their government. I would be bringing a civic tech approach as an NGO who is interested in using technology to curb governance inadequacies and to promote transparency. We would be utilizing this tech knowledge to see how we can help foster good governance within the FCT. And we're also interested in bringing all our initiatives. There is one that is currently ongoing on GRAP. We understand the importance of needs assessment while carrying out budgeting within the FCT, starting from the the area councils down to the federal constituency, and states also would like to extend that to the respective state. So this involves carrying out needs assessments within communities, constituencies, and areas on what they are actually interested in, what are the needs of the community. And we believe that when this is done, when Nigerians when FCT youth queue behind these initiatives on telling their leaders their exact need, this would help them to pass a budget that would be really participatory and would reflect the needs of Nigerians, especially the FCT as it entails now.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel, for joining us on the show. And then for the purpose of continuity, because the program does not just end here on radio, we encourage you to go to Promat's social media platforms to continue the conversation, right?
The conversation will be continued on our social media handles. We'll be referring our listeners to that page. And weekly, I don't know if I should say that, every week we'll be dropping questions as regards our activities at the programs, the lessons that you can just go online and respond to the questions. The correct answers would be selected, and there would be a gift airtime would be to
I
the
know
winners.
them.
We'll be selecting 2 winners weekly after the program. So we'll be advising, encouraging FCT youth to go and engage our social media handle on this particular question, and we will be selecting the winner, and the winner will be rewarded with the 2,000 naira airtime.
There you have it, guys. Who doesn't love a freebie? We all do love a freebie. So yes, just head on to the ProMat Foundation social media platforms or handles that they will be calling out to you, and then all you need to do is continue the conversation back there, make comments, ask questions about the Civic Matters radio program and the expectations on the program, your expectations on the program going forward. So let's have it, Farouk.
Yeah, so in addition to what my colleague just said, definitely the Civic Matters is just starting as a radio program, and it's an initiative we intend to promote subsequently, and also like it said, your for necessary questions or other things that we're unable to attend to on the radio program today, we will be attending to them on our social media platforms. So we have the Civic Matters on Twitter, yes, on Twitter and on Facebook. So for the civic quiz, which my colleague just talked about, we will post the civic quiz question for the week on our Twitter and our Facebook on the Civic Matters. Yes, the Civic Matters. Just check the Civic Matters on Twitter or on Facebook, and definitely you see us there, and then you see our activities, our engagement, and every other thing we would be doing on the Civic Matters. Also, ProMat Foundation as the parent body for this particular Civic Matters. You can follow us on Twitter and on IG at ProMatNG. We're also on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook at ProMat Foundation, and you can also check us on our website at promatfoundation.org. Definitely, you see a lot of things that will interest you as what we do as civic actors. Thank you.
All right, I think we have one more person trying to contribute, but let's have it.
Hello,
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, my sister. How are you? Nice work.
Very well, thank you. Talk to us.
Madam. Yeah, my name is Abel. I'm calling from Fuji.
All right, Elder, it's good to have you.
Thank you. The reason why the youth is no longer interested in the election is because he has become whatsoever the court choose to be our leader is the one. You understand? You too, if you are doing a research, where in the world you see the kind of political analysis that what is called political vote buying that you are seeing in Nigeria? Where in the world that the government agencies become one-sided when it comes to realities of deciding the fate of the country? So how can you do whatsoever they pick and they decide that this is the person that win is what is win? Upon everything that happened in Kogi, how many people is in a jail since the election has finished? Right from Yaya Bello, second term till today. Upon everything that happened during the election, how many people? Even me as I'm standing, I have zero of my mind that anything voting